Here we're going to get a good example of an overhanging tree and start talking about it.
Hey guys, here's a prime example of an overhanging tree. Now these are, and they're common in most lakes across the country, any lake that does have, trees on it, unless you're fishing Lake Mead or something like that. But the overhanging tree, there's a lot to this to unpack. It's not as simple as just casting up under an overhanging tree, because the technique that you want to use is based upon a lot of different stuff. It's based upon the water clarity, the water temperature, how the overhanging tree is positioned around some type of cover, and the depth underneath the overhanging tree. Because say for example, like on this particular thing here, we're sitting right now in 8 foot of water. So that means the water under that particular tree is probably about 3 to 4 foot deep. Some are different. Some have a foot or two underwater. Some have 3 or 4 feet of water. Some of them are over 10 or 12 foot of water. Now, the best overhanging trees that you're going to find are the ones that are in shallower water. The ones that have no more than like 4 foot of water underneath the outside part of them. Ideally, I want my overhanging trees to be sort of like that one over there a little bit, and the fact that the water is less than 4 foot deep. Ideally, I like it to be about 2 feet deep to make it prime. Now, the reason this is if you have an overhanging tree that is in too deep of water, those fish will not relate to the shade like they do in a shallow overhanging tree. They're just not near as productive. So say for example, if you go down this bank right here and you've got a couple of overhanging trees that are hanging a little bit deeper, those aren't going to be the productive ones. The productive ones are going to be in shallower like that has 2 to 4 foot of water in it. Okay, now the techniques that you want to use on here, again, based upon the water clarity and based upon the water temperature. For the most part, what you're going to find is, well, let me turn the camera around here and I'll talk instead of just looking at stuff.
A little bit better there.
Now, the technique that you're going to fish on these overhanging trees, it depends on time of the year, water clarity, and all that type of stuff. And you're going to find that overhanging trees primarily are better if that water temperature is over 60-65 degrees, and it's probably the best when the water temperature is in the 70s and 80s, warmer weather. Because what you have is, one of the reasons that bass like to use these overhanging trees is there's a lot of insects that hang around these things. You got mayflies, big mayfly hatches, you got flies, you got mosquitoes, different type of bugs. Those bugs a lot of time will drop off those trees into the water, which attracts bluegills. Now, if you've ever watched it very much, and if you pay close attention to some of these really isolated, shady, overhanging trees, you'll see bluegills coming up to the surface, feeding on those bugs falling in the water, and obviously the bass are right there coming behind us. So it's a prime food source. And another